Um, it's been a crazy day. In a sense that I see these perps truly for the low life that they are, and the reality they put together is comical. Especially when you have this validation that we have, they can no longer create this fantasy. It looks stupid. It looks illogical. It looks fraudulent, and it looks like what exactly it is. That they're doing whatever they can to give you this, create this false reality. But I take the things that I'm gonna go through extremely seriously because it's gonna be horrible. I understand that, but I gotta say this level of dignity. I mean, listen, I've never considered myself this like super, like honorable human being, but man, this dignity, especially when you hear who's involved. You hear like people tell me how I'm gonna be scared. It's like, of course I'm gonna be scared, but you don't understand what it takes for me to be scared. I'm so thankful to God that this weak low life are actually the one participating because it makes it even easier to see things for what they are. Um, they tell me how I'm gonna be dying in poverty. I'm like, I'm dying. So at that point, it doesn't matter what's money, what's wealth when you don't have any health, right? I truly rather be poor and have the best health than being the richest man and and dying. I remember the day I saw this homeless he's a perp, but I was envious of him. I was envious of that man, even though he looked like he was homeless, because I ended up buying food for him, and I could see it's like he's gonna eat this and that and that. And he's gonna have a better meal than me. What's happening to my digestive system is like they're destroying him. And I was looking at him like, man, that looks like I'm like envious of the fact that he looks healthy, right? This trash try to make me give like when I smell their food, I feel like ugh, I want to throw up because they're disgusting. Like the comfort of these people that they're living in, but this foulness is just more disgusting because you have the option to live a life where you can live a dignified life. This is the nasty things you do. I'm like, ugh, I'm just thankful. Now you are here playing this retard for the purpose of gaslighting me. I'm using that word retardation because this is truly where their brain has to go in order for me to. This is where the level of mental spectrum they have to be in to start making me accepting of these things. And I put the reality in their faces in very obvious ways. I refuse to let them escape. I refuse. Never. Be an opportunist low life that just wanted to live this fantasy. So you hear this video, this title called The Max. And that's because they tell me how they're going to torture me to the maximum. And what that really means is like, not only I'm going to be tortured, but they're going to torture me more than the way they've tortured this target individual that you hear, the way target individual get tortured. They're going to do more than the norm, I guess. I'm like, okay. I'd rather get tortured to the max than being involved in a program that tortured men, women, and children, the norm. To see a grown woman who can say that, I'm like, so this woman has children. And she says that because she's saying that I'm going to be tortured more than how they would torture women and children. And to feel better about being involved in a program that tortures men, women, and children is me being tortured to the max. I'm like, I'd rather die and be tortured to the maximum. I don't have the capacity, of course. Nobody can. But man, you involved in the program or you participate in something that tortures children younger than your kids. Trash us. I can never look at these people. I look at them for the trash that they are. I don't care how they block it out, how they if they regret or not. Target individual, one thing they want me to think about them is like, oh, we felt bad. It's like, I don't care what you feel. I just don't want you to escape. For me, when I see this bottom face doing this, it's just, I can't let that fantasy of theirs go there. It's like, okay, so you're saying you're going to torture me much more the way you torture this woman and these children. You're going to torture me more than the way this woman is being tortured.
Today I'm actually dealing with something that's like, it's different than the burning the private extremely painful.
But when she's being tortured in this fashion,
People.
when it's the norm,
Hey, I just woke up after a pretty rough night. The same thing happened last night as the night before, which was whenever I was trying to go to sleep, the private parts of my body began being burned again, and it felt
or maybe more than how these people are getting tortured. As you can see, they don't describe the torture, but you can see that
And I am a victim of organized stalking,
this is me.
electronic harassment, microwave torture, B2K abuse, and I'm asking you to help us end this crime against humanity, which has impacted men, women, children all around the world.
Hi, I'm Wan from Malaysia. My family are targeted individuals. We are victims of cyber torture. And I will not give up. I will fight to the end.
and I'm a victim of organized
We need this to
stalking,
stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, and I'm speaking to you on International Targeted Individual Day. I live in the U.S., in Illinois, and I'm a victim of organized
We need this to
stalking,
stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, microwave torture,
I've been targeted for 9 years.
24/7.
Please become more aware of this crime and those that the crime is being committed against. We need your support and help in ending this crime.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brown. I'm a targeted individual who is living in New Zealand, but my targeting began in California. I'm an American citizen, and the targeting continues in New Zealand. I'm making this video
Oh, torture more than how these children were tortured.
One day I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe pain. I asked him why.
They're saying that I'm going to be tortured more than that. This is the perps involved in the program that torture men, women, and children and tell me I'm going to be tortured more than them, more than these people you heard being tortured, more than this woman having a young child.
That's Catherine Nestor.
My name is Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MK Ultra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this.
What torture me more than how this whole family got tortured And you're gonna hear the snippet of the child that's only 3 weeks old being tortured.
Our infant daughter, at 3 weeks old, was diagnosed with Lerner syndrome. This was after a severe rash appeared on her body after a few days of torture. We were told by a couple doctors to take her home and love her and spend the rest of the time we have with her. They told us she would ultimately die from this syndrome. Thank God that Lerner syndrome was not what affected our daughter. Doctors are still dumbfounded by her rash and symptoms. Sadly, we know that her symptoms were effects from the torture this poor innocent 3-week-old baby endured.
Yes, I'm okay being tortured more than them. What I'm not okay is to let you think that you're being involved in a program that tortured these men, women, and children in this fashion, if it's not even the max, but this way, and let you escape in that fucking fantasy. I'm sorry, target individual, these perps have no shame. You know, the truth is we're just test subjects, and people want to participate because of this ability of what this technology provides. I mean, you are involved in a program with entities that have created technology that's so sophisticated, and you partake in the technology implementation and the implementation of this technology onto you, using technology that can literally manipulate your brain in whatever ways they want. And they use, of course, what they want, because this is a weapon system. They do it in the negative way, in the disturbing way, in the offensive way, in a way that disorient you and break you down. It is so nasty. They have no shame in regard to how they can act, because they know the brain can be manipulated to think in whatever ways they want. This technology can alter the mind. On top of doing what they're doing to our body, physiologically, they are destroying my organs in my body. I could feel my foot just acting weird. I had an incident there, but they can do really things to it and make it worse. They tell me I'm gonna be crippled. They've crippled so many people that I understand that this is the norm. They've lamed and crippled men, women, and children. At least men, women. This picture of that. Women with like things in their skin. Oh. So everything they've done, they've done it to others. Much more vulnerable than me. It's trash. So I'd rather get tortured to the max by some bottom feeders who's in pajamas, because this technology, what they can do, it can destroy your body. It can destroy your body remotely. Now with me, they're gonna try to create a theatric torture, right? So even though this torture that they want me to have can be implemented to me in just like this, in all kind of fashion, all extreme, non-extreme, and can be gauged in whatever. They can measure the level of pain they want me to have just easily. For the theatric aspect of things, they want me to be like, no, you're actually gonna be the old school, the medieval way. It's like if it's medieval or not medieval, it's modern way with this technology that can destroy your body. This new weapon system that can do so much horrible things. Horrible things. You heard this woman being internally cut, her genitals, castrating her in one way or another, using this modern technology. Doesn't matter if they did that. Can burn the genitals, even though nobody's literally burning her, but can create this technology to feel like, and they've done that to my hands and things like that. It feels like you really burn, like something weird is happening to your skin. But do that to the genitals. They do that. So for me, I'm like, you either way you're doing, this is what you're part of. You're just a low-life trash. You're gonna get chores. They wanted to do these things to me where they think they're like these adventurers. For example, right now, these perps are participants. They're using, and that just shows the level of trashiness. For me, I'm okay. It's like you expect trash to be trash. You expect people who torture women and children to be trash. You expect somebody who's involved in a program where they can do so much horrible things to the most vulnerable people using the most sophisticated technology to be trash. This bottom two is living next to me. They tell me how they're gonna frame me. I'm like, I can't wait to see these perps. I can't look to see this victim of mine. Because when they see me and when I see them, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not gonna make it to 30. Something's gonna be really off. These perps over there who don't have to sell their kids to it, they're gonna be thankful, appreciative, but trash like that is done. And I'm like, I don't care. When I see these things, I don't care what happens to this trash. I don't. But I know they're trashy, especially the parents. Oh, this for me, I'm like, that's the trash.com right there. They keep talking about how I'm gonna be tortured. I'm like, okay, I'm tortured, I die. I'm dying in a hole, I die in a well, I cry every night, then I die. Low life like you, what you do, what did you even think further to about your kids? No? You know they're supposed to live longer. No, these people are trash low life. And they try to be now with darers instead of calling themselves trashy. No, you're trash. You're not a darer. You're a coward. You're a low life opportunist coward who's a trash human being. And opportunists, but they come in all shape and form. You know who's bigger cowards? Is the people who thank you guys for selling your kids, but will not have their children do that. But I'm so thankful. Let this low life be the low life that they are. But for me, it's just continuously put things in perspective. What's the magical validation that we have as target imagery is magical. For example, right now my brain is being manipulated. You know, the entities that run this program has had and is still having, and at least it was very much official in 2019 and 2018 when there was the issue with child porn. Meaning that they were downloading so much child porn using the DoD network that a bill was created. There's a whole bill called National Defense Network Abuse Act. This bill is just a response to the fact that there's a lot of employees downloading child porn using the DoD network. Now, having that awareness and this information available for me, it's been so magical and I've been so thankful for it. Because when I look at these clowns and they have to be these clowns, and I'm like, really? You know, I can just say that and that's just so magical. They've been talking about this World Star Hip Hop thing that I've never watched. A video that was on World Star Hip Hop, one of the most popular website ever. Now to try to, because I clicked on this video, never seen it, then looked it up on Google, never seen it, and that's that they're trying to make me think, no, but you want incognito, and I didn't see nothing of that. This is what you're creating. You're adding your spice, your extra to create these stories. At the end of the day, this was never seen, and you're just trying to create this false reality so you can counter reality that you actually work for government entities that don't need child porn. And for me, it's something that I've never seen, that you're now trying to create extra steps and things to stories to create the fantasy of reality. Never seen in any fashion possible that you can imagine. Whatever steps you try to add to it is never going. That no, but the intent of watching, I intended to watch something that was from World Star Hip Hop trash. It's delusional trash. And never seen it. So now you have something that I've never seen, try to create these storylines and whatever, versus what I know that's happening in these entities, because the whole bill was created called National Defense Network Abuse Act. You understand the level of validation? Because what's happening to me today is I'm manipulating these pedophilia ways, where they've been doing that to others, forcing men and women to have these reactions, which they can do because what happens is this technology that they've been working on since the Korean War, where they found out, that they could alter the mind using electromagnetic frequencies. So in the 60s, started working on that, seeing how they can alter the mind in this way. And then, but at this point, it's so sophisticated, they can manipulate your thought process and everything else that is so insanely precise and can make you have this reaction they want you to have in thought process of all sorts. And the way they do that, apparently they've created a device that can capture your frequency, your brain frequency. Once they capture that, when they have, they're connected with the same brain frequency that each human being have, as different human brain have this different frequency. They've created a device that not only connects to your frequencies, and once you're connected to this device that could capture these frequencies, your brain start mimicking whatever or mirroring this device. So the device wants you to feel this way. Your brain is going to experience the same thing because you somehow connected with this device that can do that. That's what it's crazy. Listen, I'm not a scientist, but to find out that these things was been in the works for years, it's just like, wow. And then you have this bottom feeders who's supposed to gaslight you into this. So now you're crazy. No, you are manipulating my brain this way. So you're forcing me to have this experience, and it's very, very refined. So they make you have this feeling, and then try to make you think, but you felt like that when you were a kid, and giving you some sensation stimulation that they implant in your childhood memories to make you accept you of this. And I have these people who tell me how they're gonna frame me, right? With the trashy that they are, tell me I should identify with this. I'm like, okay. You who work for pedophile entities, entities with issue with pedophilia, renowned to rewire the brain these pedophilia ways, who's telling me you're gonna frame me, who's framing me, are mapping. I'm sorry, I will never let these people partake in this. Listen, I'm not perfect. I know my imperfection. It's nothing to do with this nastiness, with this pedophilia things. I know who I am. And when they bring up this woman like Courtney, and they're like, well, for Courtney, they would make me imagine her being, having my child. Matter of fact, today they say 2 children. I have 2 kids now. I don't. Every day more kids are coming up. I'll have no kids with this woman. I'll never have kids with that woman. Now, whatever the rest they try to come up with is just the storylines they wish to create, and they make me think, oh no, but this other person, like, I don't have any kids with Courtney or whoever else you try to bring in my brain. But now I have 2 kids. I just find that out. Maybe tomorrow I have 3, and who knows. But they were saying now we're doing for Courtney, and they're like, no, but you pulled. I was like, listen, I'm talking to women and men who are involved in a program where cutting the genitals of women is not happening. With all the respect, I know they don't give a damn about Courtney or Brittany. This is why I made their videos. They will destroy her life the way they've destroyed so many women, and watch her go through struggles of all sorts and torture her, inclusive of atrocities. But somehow I'm supposed to let them live their fantasy. They're just opportunists that use that woman's name to make themselves create this fantasy. I can't. I have a list of a bunch of women they've tortured. They involved in that program. Some of these people have participated in the torture of women. I know that. Some of them haven't. But you have accepted you took action as a person who can take action to partake in a program, in an organization, in some kind of entity or some kind of thing that is torturing women and children. You know that very well. You chose that and decided to block it out. I'm talking to those who never done that to women. But they have chosen to work with people. Okay, these people are torturing women and children. Okay, well, what? So sad. Oh, fake cry. But I'm going to involve myself in that because he needs to pay his trash ass. This is not. I will never let that. Because if it was Courtney who was Lisa, or Megan, the woman that was talking about how her genitals were being burnt, or they'll be like, oh, so sad. Oh. And still be involved in the same program that does that to her. I can't do that. I'm not this saint. I'm not a preacher or anything like that, but I gotta see things for what they are. Thank you, God, I was able to see things for what they are. And I pray for Courtney that she's never put in this program, because I know what will happen to her. Like so many other women are being tortured all around the world. As you've seen, it was me, the first person saying that on TI Day 2020. This is impacting men, women, and children all around the world. To all my target individuals, stay strong.